This was a gospel campaign that should never have happened. Taunggyi, Myanmar isn't the kind of place where you would expect a great gospel campaign. The number of Christians is so small that to secure a stadium seemed out of the question. Maybe a hall seating 100 or 200 people, but a large outdoor venue, it just didn't seem logical. The small group of local pastors, most of them looking after congregations of 20 to 30 people, were wondering, could something great happen in their city? When Peter Youngren and World Impact Ministries headed to Taunggyi, it was with one goal in mind: to see a large number of non-Christians, many who have never heard the gospel, have their first encounter with Jesus Christ. And once again, the gospel showed its power. What was to follow was nothing short of a historical gospel breakthrough in an area dominated by Buddhists and Muslims. One of the journalists who had heard about God doing wonders during previous campaigns in Myanmar inquired from Peter, "How do you heal people?" Peter was quick to assure the journalist that only Jesus heals. This was the reoccurring message. Also during the friendship luncheon with civic leaders from the Buddhist, Islamic, and Hindu communities, Jesus was the focus. Each night of the festival was like a chapter from the book of Acts. The meetings on a large field with their Suleimani Pagoda, the city's most famous religious building, as a backdrop, attracted tens of thousands. The response to the salvation call was enormous every night as people earnestly prayed the prayer of salvation. The gospel is not only in words but also in power. Each night before he preached, Peter asked God to confirm his gospel with signs and wonders. As people's minds were enlightened to the reality of Jesus Christ as their Savior, their bodies also received healing. Tumors suddenly disappeared, blind eyes opened, deaf ears unstopped, and many who were paralyzed walked. One man, paralyzed from a stroke 5 years prior, arrived at the field early in the morning and waited all day for the meeting to begin. He had not been able to walk or even stand without aid. That night, after he was healed by Jesus, he was running and jumping like a young man. One Muslim man who suffered a dangerous accident 8 years ago when he fell from a fast-moving train was also healed. People looked at their own bodies in wonder as tumors that had been there one moment were now gone. One unforgettable moment was when a father and son, both deaf, the father for 30 years and the son for 20 years, were healed at the same time. There were so many deaf ears opened that organizers lost count. Usually one night in each festival is dedicated to pray for those who are physically blind. Peter often tells the crowd that when physical eyes are opened, it is a sign that God also heals our spiritual blindness, so that we in truth can discover who Jesus really is. Again, there were many testimonies and incredible joy on people's faces as they demonstrated how they could see. Tumors are often associated with fear, and people were overjoyed when they were able to put their hand on their part of the body where they had been accustomed to feel a tumor, and now it was gone. The crowd was amazed as soldiers who had been injured through landmines and lost the ability to walk were healed. That all this was the work of God and not of man was evident, not least when people from the Lisu tribe were healed. These individuals don't speak Burmese, but without understanding a word spoken, God revealed his love to them and their faces were radiating with joy as they described in the Lisu language how Jesus had healed them. Peter Youngren and World Impact Ministries are committed to reach the Buddhist world with the gospel, and this was the theme during the Gospel Revolution seminar for pastors and leaders. With so few Christians in Taunggyi, many leaders have traveled from far away to attend the daily teaching and the seminar. Previous gospel festivals in other Burmese cities like Yangon and Mandalay have brought huge results, and now also in Taunggyi. Jesus said to go into all the world, and that includes the Buddhist world. A special thank you to the partners and friends who make all this possible.